Hi, welcome back. Today we are going to be taking a look at this 1975 Yamaha 175. It's of the wing ding 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 kind. That is 2-stroke. This one also has been sitting for 38 years. Last registered in 87. So yeah, let's dive into this and do a little walk around and see kind of what we're getting ourselves into on this one. So overall, it looks pretty complete. Everything is here. The seat's in good shape. It's not torn up. It is a little dirty, a little moldy, but yeah, sitting 38 years, you're gonna have that. Put some air in the tires. They're still holding air. They are a little dry rotted, like right here, for example. But it should be good enough to check it out. Last registered 87. And chain's a little rusty. Exhaust is a little rusty, but that would make sense. A little bit of corrosion on the front wheels, but everything is complete on it. All the plastics are there. And the rubber's a little dry rotted, but let's check out the mileage on this one. Just over 3,000. Alright, so we do have the key here. Oh. I don't know how to describe that smell. It's not fresh, let's say that. The inside is pretty crunchy. There's still gas in it. So let me bring you in here and you can see what I can see here. So the inside has a little bit of corrosion. And there is some gas in there. Well, I think the first thing I want to do is get the seat off so we can get the tank off, get that soaking, and then we'll probably jump into the carb right away. Luckily, this does have the key, so getting the seat off should be a little easier here. This one just has a couple of tabs to loosen up, and got these pins slide right out. Well, there's even a bungee cord on here. Oh, check that out. That is a old bungee cord. Look. Well, I guess it's not doing the bungee things anymore. I guess you'll have that from a probably 38-year-old bungee cord. Oh well. Alright, to get the tank off, I already disconnected the fuel line on this side. It is rigid, to say the least. And drop that off. So I believe this tank should just slide off then. Oh, we got ourselves a walnut. And there's some other rodent nesting in here. I'll have to try to get this, I think this is actually an oil tank for the 2-stroke. I believe so. This, I'm not sure what that is. Maybe a breather for the airbox? Not 100% sure. Alright, Alright, let's dump out this fuel tank and see what this actually looks like in here. Oh, that's fantastic. And there's chunks in it. Of course. Alright, well, the rest of the tank looks like it's in good shape. I think we're gonna have to hose this thing out and get the rest of it though. Alright, I'm curious, is this 38-year-old gas still flammable? Let's try it out. Way too much. Yeah. I'd say that's still flammable. How much sediment actually came out of this one? Well, not nearly as much as the last one. So that's a good sign. Or it's just still stuck in the tank. We'll see. Alright, so we rinsed out all the inside. Got it relatively clean, the big chunks and stuff out. And we're just going to try running this Evap-O-Rust through it again. This is the same gallon that was ran in the last one. Alright, we'll let that sit for probably a few days. I think it took a week on the last one, and that turned out really well, so we'll play it by ear. So now that we have the seat and tank off, I think what I want to do is probably hose it down just so I can not dig through this mouse house, and just kind of clean it up a little bit, help us see what we're working with. So let's roll this guy outside. Power washed it off, got all the big chunks of stuff off of it, but the only thing I want to get this air box off, and I believe it's the top of it's here and down here. I don't know. Let's just start taking out bolts and see where we get here. So I think. Oh yeah, they were definitely down in there. Alright. I've never worked on one of these before, so this is definitely uncharted territory. I mean, it should be pretty straightforward. Well, I'd really like to show you how this all came apart, but I just started taking off bolts, and we ended up getting at the carburetor and just ended up with a big pile of parts. Alright, so on the carburetor side here, we do just have another screw here to loosen up the actual carb. And this should just pop off then. And then the throttle is stuck, so I'm assuming this guy is stuck. Yeah, that's definitely stuck. Let's get the cap off here. Yeah, definitely stuck. Alright, I don't want to put a whole lot of pressure in here. Yeah. A little bit of penetrating oil. Alright, we can try a little bit of heat. A little bit more oil. There it goes. Just a little bit of heat. See, all that old gas on there was basically just gluing it in. The inside doesn't actually look too bad here. Let's take off the float bowl and see. Oh, wow. It actually looks pretty clean in there. I was expecting much, much worse. Alright. Well, this shouldn't take too long to clean up then. So it just occurred to me that I should probably check for spark before I disassembled all the electronics and stuff. So I rigged it back up with the batteries obviously dead. But I have it just hooked up to the jumper box on 6 volts. And then just kind of rewired these plugs back in, grounded out. So now we can check for spark. And we are getting a faint little spark. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. So it does have spark. So we went through, cleaned out the carb. It wasn't too bad, so I didn't even run it through the sonic cleaner, but just kind of scrubbed out the bottom. Made sure all the jets are flowing, so that's really the main important thing. So at this point we're ready to start putting this thing back together here. Alright, and we're ready to put it back in the bike then. So just using some brake clean, we cleaned up the slide here. Got all the old varnish gas off of there. So we can line it up on here. There's a pin that goes on that side. Make sure our center is lined up. Check our throttle, make sure that works. Oh yeah, that works well. And we'll just tighten it down. So this chain is kind of rusty. I think we can throw it in the sonic cleaner again and clean it up just like the other one. It's not like locked rigid or anything, it's just kind of rusty. So let's pop this master link off. Mm-hmm. There we go. All right, let's drop that in the sonic cleaner. All right, let's turn this up. All right, we'll let this cook for a bit. As of right now, we have spark. I think the carburetor will work just fine. Sounds like we have compression. Judging by the ear test, it's at least, I don't know, somewhere between 60 and 180. Guessing. While we have the rest of this all off, I think it would only make sense to get the exhaust out and clean that up. So let's do that. I think it's going to be easiest at this point just because everything's out of the way. So it should just be a couple of bolts down here, a bolt up here, a couple back there. So let's get that off first. We might have to loosen up this bolt up here. All right, now just the front half. That was loose. That's a little easier. Now does this just kind of wiggle out of there? How does this work? Oh, in the Tetris mind games, is this thing supposed to come out? Does the carburetor have to be off? Let's take the carburetor off. Maybe that's what it is. Alright, so we got the carburetor off. I'm not sure that actually gave us any more space. Okay, we took the chrome guard off the other side. Let's see if that gave us any more space. There it is. Alright. Yep, taking the guard. Whoa, look at all that came out. Alright, well I'm just going to keep at this with the wire wheel. It's probably not interesting to watch, so we'll just cut to when it's done. Alright, so we finished wire wheeling them. They turned out pretty good. There's no holes or anything, no big dents. Actually, I didn't really see any dents, so that's good. We're just going to clean them up with some brake clean. Get the dust and grease off of them. Not sure if that's paint coming off or if that's dirt, but nonetheless. Paint them. I have a leftover can of high temp 2,000 degrees. Hopefully that's enough. Let's throw that on there and see how that does. While the paint is drying on that, let's see if we can clean up these wheels. Once again, we're just using Brasso and Quad Zero steel wool. Seems to work pretty good on rusty stuff. Let's take a look here. Okay, that's not too bad. Alright, I'm going to keep at this and catch back with you when I got it done. Alright, so after scrubbing for a while, we cleaned up the wheels. They turned out okay. Most of the large pitting came out, but you can still see, like here, it's right through the chrome to the steel. And they look better. It's not a concours bike. The rest of it cleaned up pretty well too. The back wheel. For some reason the back wheels like to come out cleaner, but well, it's cleaning up pretty decently, but I think I'm gonna run it through the sonic cleaner one more time here. It's definitely freeing up a bit, so that's good. Another trip through it won't hurt it though. So I think at this point we're ready to put the chain back on. And after running it through the sonic cleaner twice, and then we let it soak in diesel oil, it's back free. So I'm just gonna wipe off some of this excess oil so it doesn't whip around. It definitely still will, but just less of it to clean up later. I just like using diesel oil because it seems to get in there and free up some of this rusted stuff. If there's any truth to that, I don't know, it just seems that way. But you do what you do. Doo-doo. Let's fish it through the bike. There we go. Chain's back on. See, this was clean diesel oil when it went in, and you can see it pulled a lot of the rust and stuff out of it, so I don't know, it seems to work. Alright, so our exhaust is painted up with that high temp paint. It's dry. Now we just gotta try to remember how to fish it through there. Let's give it a shot. Here we go with this side first. Let's try to thread this through first. Alright, now to get our back pipe on, we just have a couple of bushings that you just slide on here. Wait, did the metal ones go down first? I think the metal ones went first. I don't remember. Nope, those go top. Alright. These ones go first. And we slide her in somewhere in there. There we go. Wiggle it till it fits. Sure. Sounds good. And we have our piece of cleaned up chrome that goes on here. We're missing a screw here, so I don't actually have a whole lot of metric stuff. So we'll have to find one. Get this side started here. Yeah, we'll have to find a bolt for there. But so far it looks pretty good. We are at the point where we can start assembling this whole area. I did respray the air box just to clean it up a little bit. So let's put this guy back in. If I can remember how all this goes, might have to go back and look at the video because it's been about a week and I don't exactly remember everything. So let's dive into this. So I believe we got to put the air box in first, and then there's just a pin that lines up on a grommet on this side. That's that. It might actually be easier to get the air boot done before we do all this. So that sits up like that. So this air boot's got to go in something like that. Well, we managed to get the air box in, did a lot of wiggling, and I think this is the right screw, but I'm not sure yet. Alright, then we can put our oil tank back in if I can remember how this goes. Oh, I managed to get it back in. Once you get past this edge here, I did have to loosen the battery or the air box back up just to get enough space and then just force it. So we did get a new battery for it, and it's just this tiny little guy. But he just drops in there. Then this just goes on like that. So we did order a new air filter, but of course it's not in yet, so we'll just put this together and run it without until it gets in. Alright, now we have to wire in this electrical doohickey thingy. And how do we do that? Let's plug this in first. So these two little screws here get lined up on there. That blocks that screw. Can't see nothing. Seems fine. And our plastic cover just locks in up there. There we go. Alright, to the other side. So this side holds our toolbox here. Actually, before that goes on, this has to slide over that grommet in there. Okay. That. Then our tool bag goes there with the bungee strap going over. There we go. And then this just clicks in back here. Man, Yamaha just does not give you a whole lot of room on here. Stay. Alright, I think we have everything buttoned back up here. I think so, at least. Let's turn the key on. I think we're on. We're on. Let's make sure we're in. I think that's neutral. Alright. Couple of prime kicks. Helps if we put the spark plug boot back on, eh? Alright, put your guesses in. Is it 3 or 35 kicks? Prime. Prime. Choke back on. That is awesome. Alright, well, we still have to finish cleaning up the tank, clean up the seat, get all that stuff put back on, so let's jump into that part then. Oh, we should probably check the case oil too. I mean, it looks super clean. Wait, let's empty out this gas tank. We still have it sitting in the Vapor Rust for probably about a week now. So let's dump this out. Still a lot of chunks in there, but it's coming out pretty clean. After a quick rinse cycle, it came out really good. Now with the tank being real clean on the inside, I think I want to try to get it, well, real clean on the outside. So what we're going to do is try polishing it. Fine. I'd say that looks pretty good. Now let's just do the other side. You can see it's buffed, not buffed, buffed, not buffed. Alright, let's do the other side. Wow, looks like a brand new tank. Alright, let's get our tank put back on here. Just line that up. Alright, so our seat is actually in really good shape. It's just got a little bit of mold on it, a little bit of dirt. No cuts, no tears. Even the Yamaha lettering is still white in there. But we're gonna try to get some of this mold off, just Scotch-Brite and a little bit of dish soap. And rub it down and see what we come up with. Alright, we'll let that sit out in the sun then. Alright, the seat is dry, but I do want to clean it up a little bit, and to do that I'm using Grigio's Leather Care. This is vinyl, but it works just the same. And I'm not sponsored by Grigio, so use whatever you want, really. With only 2,000 subscribers, I'm not really sponsored by anybody, so if you don't mind, take the time and hit that subscribe button. The next video I have coming out should be pretty exciting. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but think turn of the century Harley Davidson. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's get it on the bike. Alright, so there's just these two pins we have to line up. And these flip down, tighten them up. Alright, I think we're at that point where we should put some gas in it and check for leaks, I suppose. Well, I'm not seeing anything leaking. That's a good start. Let's see if it'll run off its own tank. So we got it on, choke on, key on, run. Alright, how many kicks? 1, 2, 3 primes. just tried to take it out for a ride here, and as soon as I shifted down into first, it kept killing the engine. So actuating the clutch here, it's free and moving the cable, and you can see down here it's moving the arm, which means that the clutch discs on this side are stuck, which is pretty common from sitting. The easiest way I know to unstick a stuck clutch like this is just a jolt. So what we're going to do is, since we don't have a center stand on here, is we'll jack it up in the middle, start it in gear, and then hammer on the brakes. Let's see if it works. Well, if it works, is it really a dumb idea? Well, it runs and drives. After 38 years of sitting, this thing, it just wants to run. We did have a little bit of issue on the high end of it like cutting out, but I'm assuming it was just junk in the carb left over and got sucked through and burned up, and now it's revving up like it really wants to rev. I did notice that the back tire, although very dry rotted, is extremely out of round because it hops. Anything over like 25 miles an hour, it just hops. This was a fun project, and thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time, take care.